Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are heading back into the incredible world of Horizon Zero Dawn, and this time we're going in on a little exploration adventure. Now, I say a little adventure, but things definitely didn't stay peaceful for very long. While exploring, I came across some pretty dangerous machines, including Snapmaws, Tramplers, and Glinthawks. And instead of simply running past them, I thought, why not make things a little more interesting? So today we are going to be fighting these machines, experimenting with our overrides, letting some of them fight each other, and of course, collecting as much loot as possible. So grab your bow, get ready for some machine chaos, and let's get started. One of my favorite things about Horizon Zero Dawn is that you can set out with absolutely no real plan and somehow end up in the middle of a massive machine battle. You can be peacefully exploring 1 minute, and then the next thing you know, you've got machines charging at you from every direction. And honestly, that's one of the things I love about this game. The world feels alive. The machines aren't just standing around waiting for Aloy to arrive. They're moving through the environment, guarding their territory, traveling in herds, and reacting to what's happening around them. When you're exploring, you never really know what you're going to run into. On this particular journey, I came across many machines that definitely weren't going to make my exploration easy. First up, we have the Snapmaws. These machines can be a serious problem if you aren't paying attention. They're fast, they're aggressive, and they can hit surprisingly hard. And when you're fighting them near water, you really need to watch your positioning. I decided not to rush straight into the fight. Instead, I wanted to take a moment to see what I could do with the environment and the machine itself. And this is where overriding machine becomes so much fun. Rather than treating every machine as an immediate enemy, you can sometimes turn them into an ally, at least temporarily. And watching an overridden machine start attacking other machines is honestly one of the most satisfying things in Horizon Zero Dawn. You can basically sit back and let the machines do some of the work for you. Of course, you still have to be careful. Just because you've overridden a machine doesn't mean you're completely safe. Things can go very chaotic very quickly. And when you've got multiple machines attacking each other, it becomes difficult to predict exactly what's going to happen next. But that's also what makes these encounters so much fun. Instead of immediately thinking, how am I going to kill these machines? Sometimes I think, how can I make these machines kill each other? And honestly, it's pretty good strategy. If you can override the right machines at the right moment, you can create a huge distraction. Machines start attacking each other, health bar starts dropping, and suddenly you're standing there watching the entire battlefield turn into chaos. And while they're busy fighting, Aloy has a chance to reposition, prepare her next attack, or simply take a moment to watch the madness unfold. And let's be honest, sometimes you just want to see what happens, and that's exactly what we're doing here. I was just trying to get through the area as quickly as possible. I wanted to experiment, I wanted to see how machines reacted, and most importantly, I wanted the loot. Because after all that fighting, we're definitely not leaving without collecting everything. Let's take a moment to talk about the Glinthawks. These things, they can be annoying, especially when you're trying to focus on something else and suddenly you've got a flying machine attacking you from above. The problem with Glinthawks is that they can keep their distance, attack from the air, and force you to constantly look up and reposition. And just when you think you've got your aim lined up, they move. And that's the part of the challenge. So you have to stay patient and wait for the right opportunity. And once you manage to bring one down, you can finally focus on collecting all the parts and preparing for whatever comes next. Of course, if there are multiple Glinthawks around, things become even more interesting, and that's exactly when I decided let's just have some fun with this. At this point, this wasn't really just an exploration anymore. It had turned into how many machines I can fight before I leave this area, and honestly, I'm completely okay with that. We've had Snapmaws, we've had Glinthawks, we've had Watchers, we had Ravagers so far, and we've collected a ridiculous amount of loot. This is why I love exploring Horizon Zero Dawn. You don't always need a major quest to have an exciting adventure. Sometimes you can simply walk into the wilderness and let the world create the adventure for you. And somehow, Aloy always ends up in trouble.
Gonna need this.
Next, we have the Trampler. And these machines are definitely not something you want charging directly at you. They have a lot of power behind their attacks, and if you stand in the wrong place at the wrong time, you're going to feel it. The biggest thing for me during these fights is movement. Don't just stand there and keep firing. Move, watch the machines, look for where the attack is coming from, and keep enough distance to give yourself time to react. Because once a trampler starts charging, you don't want to be standing directly in its path. This is where the combat in Horizon Zero Dawn really shines. You have so many different ways to approach a fight, and you can use your bow, you can target specific components, you can use traps, you can use elemental effects, or you can just be creative with overrides and let other machines help you. And depending on the situation, sometimes the best strategy is simply to keep moving and stay alive. Eventually, after enough attacks and a little bit of patience, the tramplers go down. And now comes the most important part, the loot. you've watched my other Horizon Zero Dawn videos, you already know I am not leaving machine parts behind. After every fight, I like to take a moment to check what I've collected because you never know when that one machine part you almost ignored is going to be exactly what you need later. And that's another reason I enjoy exploring in this game. You're not just fighting for the sake of fighting, you're collecting resources, you're building up your inventory, you're finding useful machine parts, and sometimes you even get something better than you expected. So, after taking down these machines, I made sure to collect as much as I could because if Aloy is going to go through all that trouble fighting these machines, we might as well get something out
Probably
of
not
it.
scrap.
And that brings us to the end of today's exploration. We started out simply exploring the world and somehow ended up battling Snapmaws, Tramplers, Glinthawks, Watchers, Ravagers, and experimenting with overrides. And obviously filling up our inventory with machine parts. Not a bad day in the world of Horizon Zero Dawn. I hope you enjoyed watching the battles as much as I enjoyed causing a little bit of machine chaos.
I'll find a use for
If
you.
you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And let me know in the comments which machine should I hunt next. Until next time, keep exploring, keep hunting, and most importantly, keep moving. I'll see you in the next adventure. Take care. Bye bye.